The universe consists of 5% protons, 5% neutrons, 5% electrons, and 85% morons. That comes to us from Frank Zappa, and I know that I'm the kind of guy who's usually all trying to get up on your grill about the protons and electrons and stuff, but today I'm going to try to teach you something that is actually going to be useful for the rest of your life. It's actually something I asked to be able to share with you because I think that it is one of the most important things that I ever learned to do, and it is something that not enough people do, and I wanted to be able to share it with you before you left and became a real person. So today I'm going to share with you the Peterson family budget spreadsheet. So the reason 85% of the universe is morons is because, well, they don't manage their money very well. Um, I'm not a money manager. I'm not a financial advisor or even like a serious, investor type or anything like that. I have followed one rule very successfully for my entire adult life to this point, and that is you should not spend more money than you make. And just following that one rule will put you definitely in the upper half, above average, at least of American citizens. And it will get you to a point in your life where you will be able to use your money to help people and organizations that you care about rather than needing to get help from people, which is not always necessarily a bad thing, but we would definitely rather be in the position to help somebody with our money rather than needing help with money. And so I'm going to share with you a tool that Mrs. Peterson and I use, and I'm even going to share with you our actual a sneak peek at our actual planner that we use. But this is it. I've shared this with you as an assignment in classroom in your ACP page. It is just a very simple Google sheet. And I'm not going to get into all the details of the things that it can do. I'll show you some of the things that it could do, but I'm just going to teach you the basics right here. And if you are interested in having me sit with you, or maybe even a small group of you, and go over some more of the details, I would be happy to do that, but that's not going to be for everybody, and so we're not going to do that right now. So it starts with this. This is a sheet. It's got 4 tabs, so note that down on the bottom. The most important one is the monthly budget calculator. And that is just a place where it will allow you to play with ideas really quick and easy. You might be one of these people who feels that, like, I don't have a lot of money right now, or once you get out of school, like, you're just not making a lot of money. And so you don't need to really have a budget, or you can't really set up a budget because you just don't have that much money. And that is actually the exact opposite of what is true. If you can't manage a little bit of money and make a plan for what to do with a small amount of money, you will probably never have a very large amount of money. There's lots of stories and even parables about this kind of a thing. And so what you're going to do is you stick in the little bit of money that you do make every month in that top box, okay? It's important that you try to be as accurate as possible. If you have a job where your income fluctuates a lot because of like tips or something like that from month to month, you want to try and pick probably a conservative or a lower end value of what you think you're going to make in an average month. So let's just say, I just threw it in there just now. I put in $1,200 into that cell, which is not a lot of money, but might be reasonable for you right now or in the near future. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to decide where these things are going to go. And what I've done is, this is the actual sheet that Mrs. Peterson and I use. I've removed some of the things, but I've left the general outline of everything there, and I've left blank spaces for you to add things if you need to, okay? One of the first, I'm going to point to 2 things that I think you should always start with, and that is what we call the oh shit fund around here, because life is going to happen. Things that you didn't plan are going to pop up, and you want to be able to deal with those without having to use a credit card, or at least carry a balance on your credit card, or get loans if at all possible. And so you quickly want to try and build up some kind of a cushion until you have actually 6 months worth of your bills just saved, sitting around waiting for something to happen that you might need that. And so the oh shit fund is like, so if every month, let's say you want to try to save, like, your goal is to try to save, you're making $1,200 a month, so let's just say we're going to try and save $60 a month towards that fund, number lock. $60 a month towards that fund, okay? This is set up, so when it says amount per check, this is assuming you get paid every 2 weeks. Though there's a way to change that if we need to, but you'd have to come and talk with me. Let's just see if you like this idea at all before we get into those kinds of details, okay? So that means that this can be $30 out of every check would get you about $60 a month. And actually the added benefit is that if you're getting paid every other week, you'll actually get paid 2 extra checks during the year and you'll have extra money at the end. So in any case, so building up a little bit of cushion, an emergency fund, super important thing to begin right away. And then also defining for yourself what constitutes an emergency. Like does a sale at Cabela's constitute an emergency? These are the things that you need to try and draw lines for yourself in the sand, line in the sand. So the other one I want to jump down to actually right away is actually giving. Okay, so it's important for I think all of us, and I'm trying to encourage you to start this young to develop a sort of a giving mindset, or some people say to hold your money with an open hand. If you hold your money with an open hand, people can reach in and take out and you can give to people. If you hold your money with a clenched fist, nobody can take it away from you, but also no more can get in either. And so the principle here is that we want to be generous to the people and to the organizations that are important to us. And so some people shoot for 10% here, and it would be good for you to start with something. 10% of $1,200 would be $120 a month. Okay. Let's say you're not in for 10% yet. Let's go with half of that. Let's go with 5%. So let's say you want to try and give $60 a month this year, and the next year you're going to try and add, maybe you're going to try and go to 6% next year. Okay. But then just look at the rest of this stuff. Like you're going to have to be like, you're going to be living someplace, right? Like, so you're going to have a couple of roommates, and let's say that you got to pay $200 a month in rent, right? You probably won't have property taxes if you don't own a place. Maybe you have to pay a little bit for utilities. Let's say your utilities, like your share of the utilities every month is like maybe, let's say $30. Okay. I'm betting you got a phone, and if you're paying for it, I don't know how much you're paying for it. Mrs. Peterson and I together for both of our phones is like, it's a little less than $100, I think. And so let's just say that yours is $40. Okay. Childcare, if you have house maintenance, these are things where you want to start saving these things. If you are going to try and start saving for retirement, which is a great idea, the money that you put in right now won't be very much probably, but because you're putting it in so young, the amount of time it gets to grow. So compound interest is a beautiful thing. So saving a little bit into an IRA or something like that now would be a good idea. Let's say like if we've got $1,200 a month, we may not be able to do that yet. Okay. The grocery store, I don't know. I don't even know. Let's say you think that you're going to eat $150 a month at the grocery store, right? But you like to go out to Starbucks a lot, or B-dubs, or wherever you like to go. So let's say that like you actually do that every other week with your friends on payday, and you're planning on blowing $25 every other week on restaurants. And you can just kind of see here. So let's say in a month, like you figure that you're going to burn $150 worth of gas. Your car is going to break, or you're going to have maintenance and things like costs and things like that. So let's say every year you figure like, I don't know, let's say that maybe you're trying to keep, let's say $500 a year that you're going to pay for like oil changes, and save for new tires every couple of years, and something's going to break, those sorts of things, right? You have to pay to license your vehicle every year. So every year, I don't know, that's going to be around $100. Let's put $80 a year in there for that. So it's going in the yearly column, right? And you got all kinds of other stuff here, like clothes and all that kind of stuff. So let's say like you think it's going to be $50 a month for clothes. And if you got tuition, like maybe yearly, maybe your tuition is going to be like $4,000 a year for tuition, right? And you got gifts. So like general gifts are just like, you want to have some money for people who have weddings. You're at that time in your life, people are going to start getting married that and you're going to want to buy them something. You got to get presents from mom and dad or brothers and sisters. You can add in people in these rows here. The Peterson family, we really love Christmas because we don't spend a lot of money on stuff. We're very frugal. But at Christmas time, we've been saving money all year long to buy gifts for the people who are important to us. And we get to go like shopping on and then spend that money. And it's not stressful for us because we've been saving all year long to do that. It's actually kind of a fun time of the year, right? If you want to spend some money on yourself, Or if you have honest, like you know that you're going to go and you're going to be in trap league, and so you're going to need some money for trap league, and so let's say that that's going to be a monthly expense of about, so let's say it's going to be about $40 a month to be in the trap league. Okay. We get down here to the bottom, and these bottom lines can tell you a lot about how you're doing.
Calendar. Email Connie. Is coming up tomorrow.
Look at that. So the total payments right here for the month, and then the surplus is, you know, because this is a positive number, it means I actually have $17 extra. If it was a negative number, that'd be a bad thing. And the total yearly surplus, this says in a year, actually, you're going to have 212 extra bucks if you can stick to this budget. Now, we skipped over a whole bunch of things, but be truthful, when you're first starting out, you might not have a lot of these kinds of expenses. It's not important that you use this tool. If you don't like this spreadsheet and it doesn't seem to work well for you, fine. But there's all kinds of online tools and apps that you can use to make a budget and stick to a plan. It's not important like exactly that you plan this way, but that you have a plan is one of the most important things that I could ever teach you, way more important than I could to teach you how to solve for the acceleration of an object starting from rest. So I want you to have a look at this and play around with this tool. These other tabs, just really quickly, this is like a ledger. I'll show you, Mrs. Peterson and I, what we've got going on. So this is like where I balance my checkbook and I divide up the things in my checkbook into different sort of lines or accounts that tells me how much money I have in each of those things. Same thing for my savings. And this is a great place for you to store account information. So if you've got usernames and passwords and things that you just have like a million of them, you'll have more. They grow exponentially as you go. You'll have more and more of them. So if you look at Mrs. Peterson and I, this is actually like, this is our spreadsheet like right now for the year 2020. So you can see how we have this stuff all filled in here and all the people we're going to buy gifts for and all this good stuff is in here. And we get down to the bottom and we have pretty close, so compared to the amount of money that we make, we have pretty close to zero here for a monthly surplus, and that's a good goal. You want to have every dollar planned for, and so that if you have extra, that should be going into your saving or something like that, right? And you can see like our checkbook. Here's our checkbook for like this whole year. You see all the lines that we have there for the different parts of different places where things are stored. And when I get way down to the bottom, it's getting near the end of the year, you can see this is the amount that we have saved for all those different things. So this is the tool that we use. It's kind of clunky, really. It's just a spreadsheet. There are a lot fancier, flashier ways to do this, but this has been working for us for a really long time. We understand it really well, and it's been very successful for us. So take this thing and make a plan. All right. Don't be one of the 85% that are morons. Don't spend more money than you make, and the way that you do that is you approach your money with a plan. Make a plan.